The video shows a car owner leaving his vehicle to make a phone conversation while stopped in front of a pump at a Quick Trip gas station in Locust Grove, Georgia. The cops of the Locust Grove Police Department got suspicious, so they approached and began questioning him about his hanging activities.
What's going on, man? Are you hanging out? Are you meeting somebody? Are you waiting on somebody? Are you lost?
I live out here.
So, the reason I'm asking...
Let's see what the man replies. The lady officer asks him if he's meeting somebody or waiting on somebody or lost.
So, the reason I'm asking, we've been here how long? Probably 20 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah,
you hadn't got any gas, you hadn't gone in and got any food, you parked at a gas pump.
The officer then explains the reason they got suspicious.
So, what are you doing?
I'm just chilling. I don't want to go home today. I can't sit in the parking lot.
To this, the man replies what he is actually doing.
Because I live out here.
Where you have some ID? Who's your ID? Or is it in the car?
It's on me, but what's the problem?
Who's your ID? I mean, you can make it super difficult, but you do have to give your ID.
I'm just wondering why y'all... I've literally been on the phone just talking.
I know.
The officer then asks for his ID and if someone is near who knows him.
Go ahead and get your ID, and then while you give us your ID, she can speak with you. But you need to identify yourself, so go ahead and get your ID.
Another officer advises the man to collect his ID and wait for him to present it to her so she may speak with him. He needs to identify himself, thus he should go collect his ID.
So right now what it falls under is loitering. So loitering, yes.
Yes.
Because like if you were like getting gas, waiting on somebody, like if you were doing anything other than just kind of like hanging out, it wouldn't be an issue.
Well, I've been on the phone.
We know.
The officer further explains the situation.
This area is known for narcotic activity. It's known for criminal activity. So that's another reason why we're speaking to you. We want to make sure that's not afoot.
Right here, people will park.
The officer explains to him that this area is notorious for drug activities as well as criminal activity. So that's another reason we're talking to you. We want to be sure.
Over there, they'll wait right here, they'll wait for somebody, they'll do like that.
And brought under a
Bro,
street
you
light?
have no idea.
So,
Well,
yes.
I live out here.
I believe you do.
Shit.
You know, you have your ID with you.
Is the license or is the address on your license current? Is that
No.
okay. What's your current address?
According to the officer, if people will park right here, go over there, and wait right here for someone, which they do, it causes suspicion, so they have to look after and take care of it.
Is doing something not like the norm. Hanging out at the gas pump, not like the norm. You know what I'm saying? So we have to just kind of get out. Now if you like take off and run as soon as you see us over here.
But why would I do that?
Well, so that's it. That would add to it, but you didn't. So it makes it look a lot better. You get what I'm saying?
The officer tries to explain Georgia's loitering legislation to the man, but leaves out the condition that the suspect's unusual conduct creates reasonable alarm or imminent concern for the safety of individuals or property.
That's fine, but
That's
you can't just if you're not doing any business, if you're not getting gas, you're not going to
Well, I
get
was
food.
actually finna go in there. I just had a phone conversation.
Well, that's cool, but now that we've had this communication, it's what they call dispelling the alarm. Now that we're able to figure out, okay, this guy doesn't have any issues or anything like that, then we can be by our merry way. But we never met you a day in our life. I've never met you.
I've never gotten
She's
out
never
with
met you. He's never met you. So we're just doing our jobs, what we're getting paid to do.
The man further explains that he lives here and currently that is what he's trying to do. The cop tells the man that he won't actually go in there if he isn't doing any business or getting gas. Now that we've had this discussion, it's time to dispel the alarm since we figured it out. We've never met you in our lives, so we're simply doing what we're supposed to do.
Finish up the phone call,
Well,
go inside,
I mean,
do your business if you got to, and then head on home, alright?
Yeah, but
Second
that's
thing,
kind of
your
crazy.
look, it's
Like I've never.
Go look up loitering in the Georgia
No,
code section.
my father's a retired sheriff.
Okay.
Well, I know, but I've never.
Like I said, this area is known for drug transactions. We're gonna make sure none of that's occurring here tonight. So
The conversation between them goes on, and the officer again tells the man that this area is known for drug transactions, and we're going to make sure none of that's occurring here tonight.
And I haven't spoken to them. And I know you saw the weird girl run up to my car, and I'm like.
yeah, they just came from a party
with
down
a bunch
in
of
their
with a bunch of
neighborhood, a whole ton of drugs, and we're sitting right
but
there
see,
with our blue lights on.
I do a lot of stuff in the community and shit, so my car is like really well known. I race at Silver Dollar. I do track.
The man further discusses everything with the cops, but the cops are not satisfied and argue on the situation.
That's all that happened.
We sat there for a while. We observed you. We're watching. Okay, this guy's not getting gas. He's not going in there. We're watching everybody come and go. So it already drew our attention. Then we saw somebody that we dealt with earlier with a whole bunch of drugs around here coming up to you. I'm like, okay.
Right.
So
and they said, hey, I see your car everywhere because I live out here. They said, we see your car, SRT on the side.
Hey,
I said, thank you.
Which makes sense. And that's the reason why we came over here to introduce ourselves, dispel the alarm, make sure there's nothing nefarious going on. Now we're going to be about our way. Because now if we thought something nefarious was going on, then we'd be going a whole different direction. You understand? But we have to dispel alarm, make sure nothing nefarious is going on. You understand that?
The officer continues, we sat there for a while and observed you. We're watching, okay? He's not going to stand there watching everyone come and go, so draw has already drawn our attention. We spotted someone we previously had dealt with and a large number of narcotics around here approaching you. So they said hello, which makes sense, and that's why we came over here to introduce ourselves, to spell alarm and make sure nothing out of the ordinary is going on. And now we're on our way, because if we believed something nefarious was going on, we'd be traveling in the whole opposite route, you understand?
I guess.
Have a good night, sir.
All right, have a good night. I don't have one on me. I'm Officer James. It's Officer Pitts. That's Officer Mosley. I mean, and I definitely encourage you to go look up the code section, OCGA loitering. Loitering. Look it up.
The officers leave the man after revealing their names and also advise the man to look at the code section for loitering. The police failed to adequately explain the laws to the individual and maintained a judgmental and patronizing attitude throughout the encounters. There exists a fine line between criminalizing harmless activities and investigating suspicious behavior, and the initial reason given by the officer for stopping the person was simply being in a parking lot. By that same logic, couldn't the officers themselves be accused of loitering regardless of their suspicions? The officer's explanation of Georgia's loitering law was incomplete and intentionally conveyed in a vague manner to suppress the individual's concerns about wrongdoing. Undoubtedly, the unclear and confusing language of Georgia's loitering legislation can be held accountable for a significant portion of the problematic behavior exhibited in this interaction. This conversation clearly highlights the real-world implementation of loitering regulations on the streets and underscores why numerous constitutional scholars and legal experts vehemently oppose them. Talking about the man, he chose not to exercise his right to remain silent, but instead remain composed and, throughout the interaction, complying with the officer's instructions. Despite displaying clear reluctance and respectfully questioning the officer's behavior, being approached and accused of criminal activity by law enforcement can be emotionally draining, especially when your actions were completely innocent. However, the man managed to maintain his composure and cooperation throughout.